How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully, everyone's having a lovely day. So, the Cincinnati Reds, with the signing of Frankie Montas, find themselves in a bit of a predicament. A good predicament, though, if you will, because of the depth, the flexibility they're going to have. That being, they're going to have 6 starting pitchers on the roster. 7 if you want to include Nick Martinez, but I don't think Martinez ain't starting. So 6 guys on this roster, and the Reds really got to figure out, hey, who's the odd man out here? And I think, and I hope David Bell doesn't try to, do one of these cute things that he does where let's go 6-man rotation. That obviously didn't work. When the rotation was as bad as it was, that obviously didn't work. I don't know how else to put it, but it didn't work. I think, the thing is, it's, remember Bronson Rowe back in the day, he could go on 3 days rest all the time, no problem. Then other guys, they get lit up. You got pitchers that are just so used to these routines, so used to their 5-day routine, so on and so forth. Then all of a sudden you have a 6-man rotation, you throw in an off day. This guy's not pitching for 7 days. So I think that, that's kind of a challenge and something you want to see avoided. Maybe it ends up working out for the Reds. You would hope it does just for the flexibility, but then again, you're paying an ace. You want that guy out there every 5, so you want him out of there as much as possible. And Hunter Greene. Anyway, you look at this and say, Hunter Greene's going to be pitching. Nick Lodolo is going to be pitching. Frankie Montas is going to be pitching. That's 3. You're going to have 2 spots left between Brandon Williamson, Graham Ashcraft, and Andrew Abbott. And now here's the thing. I hear a lot of talk about, well, let's make Abbott be the one that can, if he has the options left, he can go back down. And it's like, yeah, that's true. Abbott was also the most promising looking pitcher for a long stretch last season for this Cincinnati Reds team. I think the last thing you'd want to do is send a guy down after a season like that and not give him a chance to play under his service time, under a chance to develop. That one doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all because, again, this is a guy that's got a potential, if you believe in him, to give you 5 more years of really good pitching under team control. And the last thing you want to do is, play the up and down game after you just pitched last season like you did. So I think you say Abbott takes a spot. That leaves you with Williamson and Ashcraft. 2 guys that had some kind of similar numbers last season. Ashcraft allowed a few more base runners last season. Whip around 1.39. Williamson's in the 1-2s range there. Williamson, though, 41% on a hard hit rate compared to Ashcraft's 39%. So a little bit better contact, a little bit more squaring it up against the baseball against Williamson last season. Ashcraft did have, again, the lower ERA, 4.81, opposed to Williamson's 4.45. And if we remember last season, it was ugly. It was really ugly there for Ashcraft. He started out great. So April pitched well, then the wheels fell off in May and June. It was about mid-July. He started to figure things out again. He started to pitch really well again down the stretch. And we know that's the Ashcraft we know and love that. That's the Ashcraft that we know can pitch really well and be a starting pitcher on this team. It's a little inconsistent right now, but we know when he puts it together, he's a great pitcher. And more importantly, you look at Ashcraft and the innings he logs when he's healthy. Constantly going out there going 5, 6, usually giving you 6, often gives you 7. Really important. Really important with our young pitching staff that has had a problem going deep into baseball games and it wears down in your bullpen later in the season. So you say that's a plus for the Ashcraft, a big plus, because Williamson, he's giving you 4 or 5. He's struggling to go much deeper into ball games. And that's huge, I think. That's huge. That gives the nod there a little bit to Ashcraft. I think what's really scary here is, as Reds fans, we look at this rotation and say, hey, we need a pitcher. Oh, we need a pitcher. The ERA was through the roof last season, close to the near bottom of the league, and it's just got to figure something out there. But the flip side of that is, you look at the age of these guys, these 25-year-olds, these 23-year-olds, these 24-year-olds. You say, Ashcraft's been in the league 2 years now. Williamson's been in the league 1 year. And as we know, a pitcher typically takes time to develop in the major leagues. Some come out as a house of fire, but typically, 2-3 years, they need to, figure things out. And that's when they take off. And you worry about guys like Williamson. You worry about, Ashcraft, this is his 3rd year, but you worry about a guy like Williamson, this is his 2nd year. Does he build off the 1st year and all of a sudden start to catapult himself up in the ranks here? But if you don't play him, he doesn't have that opportunity. The flip side of that is saying, hey, yeah, you want to take that chance, make sure you're not missing out on a guy, make sure you're developing him. But you look at this Reds team last season and say, hey, they wanted to make playoffs. They want to contend for playoffs this season. And you don't really have time to fiddle and fodle with these guys and hope it turns out. And I think ultimately, I feel like the Reds are going to try to put 6 people in rotation. I'm not a big fan of it. But I think ultimately the nod's going to go to Ashcraft, especially the way he finished last season. They're going to have to figure something out with Williamson. There's some talk about him in a bullpen, but then you have 4 lefties in a pen. Is there going to be room for him down there? Ultimately, though, I think you say that's your 5. And here's the thing. You don't want to say it, but this rotation was decimated with injuries last season. That's kind of what the Reds are looking at, saying we don't want to get in that situation again. And they may be looking at a guy like Williamson saying, hey, you're going to have to wait your turn, but it's going to come. Or they might be looking at Ashcraft like that, wait your turn, but it's coming. Or they might just say, let's rock all 6. But when an injury happens, we're good to go. Good situation to be in for the Reds, though, when you have so many options here to fill out your starting 5. Love the y'all's thoughts. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.